Alright, what comes in our individual target repair kit, what is supplied is rubber gloves, keep your hands clean, the pigment, which is in the large red resin jar, and also the hardener. This is exactly as much hardener as you'll need to mix up with the resin that's provided, and also the instruction sheets. And it's important to become well aware of all the instructions in the instruction sheet. Here are a few things that you'll need to make use of your individual Target Master kit. A milk jug. You want to rinse this out with good hot water and make sure it's completely dry. And also when you're repairing the 3D targets, everything you use has to be completely dry because moisture would be adverse to the chemicals that we're using. You'll see this milk jug. I drilled a hole in the handle here so I can cover it with my thumb. That's to release the pressure out of the jug. That's the most important part of the whole process, to make sure that there's a pressure relief valve in the handle of your milk jug. But once this is all, the hole is drilled out, you have the cap, you just set that on the side. That's the most important. That'll take a while to make sure it's completely dry. Other handy things is plastic sheeting. I use a pretty heavy, dense plastic sheeting. It's very smooth and that'll peel off your material so the foam won't stick to it. It'll make a nice smooth finish on your target. So plastic sheeting, I use one for the bottom and the top on a target that will pour through. Also, I use a regular office stapler like this one, and use that to staple a plastic sheeting on. And in some cases, I use this cardboard like this, and what I'll do is I'll make it so it'll shape the body cavity a little bit, and I'll use that, and I'll back it up with duct tape, and I'll tape this to help support the foam as I pour it into the target, which we'll get to a little later. And also, I guess we'll get into coring out our target. I use a sawzall saw like this and a pry bar like this as I core out the target. Alright, you'll see that now I've cored out the target, and you'll see this is going to be one that'll be a pour through target. You'll see there's a hole all the way through the target. So what I want to do is put our plastic sheeting on this target. Alright, I use many staples around the outside of the target to hold the plastic sheeting, which will actually hold our warm hot liquid on the bottom side of this target. What I'm going to do also, because the material is heavy and very warm, I'm going to use this cardboard and I'm going to back up this plastic, taping this on with duct tape. You'll see I put the duct tape here on the cardboard to help back this up. So, sort of to keep the contour of the target. That's a helpful hint. This way your target won't belly out and a lot of your material will be trimmed off if you don't do this step. And it'll make this side of the target look very professional. On the other side, you'll see now we have a cavity to pour into. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put plastic sheeting on this side just to help hold the foam in the cavity, and then an area for the excess to flow out. Alright, I put the plastic sheeting on and I stapled it all the way around, and I left this hole big enough that I can pour from my mixing jug into the cavity. And I just stapled this back so I'll hold it lightly with a stapler too, just so I can flip it back up with my other hand. And I'll support this leg like so that it'll rise to the top of the cavity. Alright, you'll see that I put on my gloves because what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare a resin jug. This is a large bottle in your kit, and it could be whatever color your target repair kit. It'll have the material in here, and what happens is on the bottom of that jug it'll want to settle, the pigment will want to settle. So I'm going to restore the container to its round shape. You know, sometimes you have to peel up this little gasket so it'll take on air, and then shake this vigorously. It says 20 to 30 seconds in your instruction. You can't really overshake this. You just you'll get really good color if you make sure that it's mixed really well, so that settled portion is well mixed in the resin. Alright, while I was pouring out the target, I actually let this thing drain until I have my target all prepared. And what we're doing is just make sure that all your resin is in your mixing jug, and then this can be stored off to the side. But now we're ready to prepare for the hardener. That's a little bottle in your kit, and what we want to do is unscrew the hardener bottle and make sure that we get this gasket out of the way. Make sure that this is ready to pour in. And it's important, this is the most important part of this. If people have problems, sometimes it's with adding the hardener. Once you introduce any hardener to the resin, it starts a chemical reaction, and it's important that this is done in a timely manner. And what we do is, when I introduce this in, that's going to start the chemical reaction. So I'm going to prepare my target and get everything ready, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, now that the resin is in the mixing jug, I'm going to introduce the hardener because my target is all ready to be poured. And I'm ready. I have my gloves on, safety glasses again. I'll introduce the hardener and do this all in real time so you'll understand exactly how this operation works. I'll squeeze the jug 3 or 4 times until the last glug. Now I'll count 10 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010. And I'll replace the cap. Squeeze the jug about 1/3 of the way. Replace my thumb over the hole and shake vigorously for 30 to 45 seconds. The jug should return to almost full size. Making sure we really shake this vigorously. It makes the foam really good. Alright. Release our thumb, no pressure in the breather hole. And now we're going to continuously pour the foam into the target cavity. Because the jug is all warmed up, what I'm going to do is, it's very flexible. That's pretty warm. You can just wring this thing right out. We'll set this on the side. And the foam you'll see is rising up pretty quickly. Getting my plastic ready to flip our tab. You can see it's touching the plastic here already. You can flatten this out a little bit. You can see this foam coming up here real time. Making sure that it gets to all the edges of the target. I'm going to hold this back just so the foam meets all of these edges. Alright, I see it's getting into all these little cracks and crevices. Now I'm going to slowly release my thumb off here and let the foam, any excess, flow out up here. Now that it's totally expanded, we can wait until the following day to let this fully cure. You can store this on its lock like this until the following day. Just don't rest anything against it, otherwise it'll leave a dent in your nicely poured target. But the following day you just trim that off with a knife. On our side that was backed up with duct tape, here we'll pull this off and give you an idea of what it's like. There, it's nice and flat, makes a nice pour.